Okay, so we have a couple of reviews to go through. I'm just going to do one here. So we're going to go through that in preparation for the unit test. Now the unit test will have some multiple choice and some constructed response. So you're going to have to do both. Make sure you get your answers in there. When you're typing in your answers, if you are typing rather than handwriting and send me the picture, when you're doing exponents, don't try and do crazy things with Google Meet stuff or Google Documents. You're just going to do like if we had 6x squared, you're going to type 6x, the caret button, and the 2. That's how you do 6x squared. Okay. That being said, let's kind of go through this and see what we got going on. It says, which of the following value is the value of the polynomial 4x blah, blah, 1 x equals 10? So basically, you're just plugging in 10 for your x's. Now, if I was doing this, if you said, hey, Mr. Douglas, you want to do this, so make sure you get it right on the test, I would go into my calculator, I would type this into my graph, and I would go to the table of values. That's what I would do, okay? Or you could store 10. We did that in the beginning of the year, so you'd do the X control button next to the equal sign, and then 10, and then type that in, it would give it to you. But if you did that, it would give you, let's see, that's 4,237 right there. Okay, yep, I did that in my head. Next one, it says, which one of these is a polynomial? Once again, as you're looking at this, a polynomial is an expression that has exponents and x's and things, but it doesn't have the x as an exponent. This is an exponential function, so that one's out. And it doesn't have fractional equations, so this one's out. And it doesn't have square roots, so it's going to be this one where you got the squared, the x, and the number, which is a lot like what we looked at. All right, next one. It says, find the difference. That means we're going to subtract. When you take this from, remember we have that from, that puts this on top, and then you change all the signs on this by multiplying through by -1. So I'm going to have positive, I'm going to make that a plus 5x squared minus 3x minus 8. And we add down now, and we wind up with 7x squared plus 1x, or just x, and minus 7. Okay? So once again, you do the keep, change things. You look for that from, and whenever the from is after the from goes up on the top, and that's the way you go. All right, next one, we have 3 problems, and they're using the same binomials for each one. The first one is to multiply, because there's nothing between it. So this is product, that means to multiply. So I'm going to do 2x, and then the 5x plus 4, and then the minus 3, and the 2x plus 4. And I'm going to distribute in. I get 10x squared plus 8x minus 6x minus 12. Notice I did it in the offset method, so I got my x's on top of my x's. There's nothing on top of the squared because nothing to combine with, so I get 10x squared plus 2x minus 12. When I'm finding the sum, all I really need to do is combine like terms, so I have 2x plus 5x, that's going to give me 7x, and then I have -3 plus 4 gives me a plus 1. And then for my difference, we're going to do our keep, change. So this becomes a plus sign. This I multiply through by -1, so I get minus 5x minus 4. Then I add down, and I wind up with -3x minus 7. Okay. For the next one, I'm going to be multiplying, but you need to break it down into parts. So we're just going to multiply these 2 things first, and then multiply the result by that. Now I'm going to do a little cheat here. I'm going to do the sum and product. Okay, since it is just an x plus and an x minus, so that means I'm going to get an x squared, and then I do 8 minus 3 gives me a plus 5x, and then an 8 times -3 getting a minus 24. I'm going to split this one, going to do a 2x here, and then a plus 1 here, and I'm going to put the x squared plus 5x minus 24 in parentheses. Now I'm going to distribute, I'm going to write it off to the side here because I don't have a lot of room. So I'm going to have a 2x to the third plus 10x squared minus 48x. Then I'm going to have a 1x squared plus 5x minus 24, which gives me as a result 2x to the third plus 11x squared minus 43x minus 24. Okay, so we've done some multiplication. Now we're doing some factoring. We're taking this apart. It's what we just finished up the unit on. And the first thing I see is 128x to the fourth minus 162. Well, I can't take out an x because there's no x here, but I can take out a 2. Okay, that's going to be the GCF, and you can use your calculator for that. Remember, it's the calculator. You hit menu, 2 for number, and then 4 for GCF, and then the 2 numbers. If I take out a 2, I'm going to wind up with 64x to the fourth minus 81. And then I can factor this using dots, difference of 2 perfect squares. So I'm going to have my 2, and I have square root of 64 gives me 8. The square root of x to the fourth gives me x squared. Then I'm going to have a plus the square root of 81 is 9. And then the same thing with a minus 9. 8x squared minus 9. Once again, take the square root of the first term, plus and minus the square root of the second term. Next one, I take out a 3, my leading coefficient, and the x squared at the end. So I'm going to have 3x squared. I'm going to have x squared minus 5x minus 6. And this tells me I have a plus and a minus. This tells me the bigger one is a minus. So I have 3x squared, x plus, x minus, and we're looking for the factors of 6 that add up to -5. Bigger one being negative, so I have 1, -6, and 2, -3. And it's going to be the 1 and the -6. Okay. GCF on the last one is going to be a 2. So I'm going to have a 2, and that's going to give me x squared minus 4x minus 21. And I'm doing that same thing, and it's the same setup. Signs are the same, so our signs are different. So that tells me it's a plus and a minus. This one tells me the big one's a minus. And I have my 2, my 2 sets of parentheses. And I'm looking for the factors of 21 with a difference of 4. That's going to give me a 3 and a 7. Okay, once again, you can stop and start this when you want to check these things out, just to make sure you get them right. And hopefully it'll let me slide. That's not going to let me slide up. All right, so for this one, I was going to write that -2k squared underneath each term. And I'm going to write my answer. We'll go purple. 18 divided by -2 gives me -9. I have 7k's, take 2 away, that gives me 5's. -7k to the fifth. And I have a negative divided by a negative gives me a positive. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 5k's, take 2 away, k to the third. And then my last term, 4 divided by -2 gives me -2. And I have k to the third divided by k to the second just leaves me a k. Okay, so there's my answer to number 7. Okay, moving on out. Here we go. It says, simplify the expression below and write it in standard polynomial form, a trinomial. Okay, so this one, they want us to multiply these, and then subtract the difference. Okay, so I need to do some double distribution first, and I'm going to do it kind of quick here, so pay attention to what I get. I got 3x times 3x, or 3x times x is going to be 3x squared. Then I have a minus 12 and a plus 2, so that's going to give me a minus 10x. And then I have a 2 times negative 4 gives me a minus 8. And then I'm going to have, I'll put some parentheses around that, put my minus sign on, and I'm going to have, doing the sum and difference, I'm going to have x squared plus 4x minus 5. Then I multiply through by -1. Not a lot of space here, but I get negative x squared minus 4x plus 5. And I'm going to put my result over here in blue, and I'm going to get 2x squared minus 14x minus 3. Okay, so that's what they wanted on this one. So you got to follow the instructions. This one looks exactly the same as the one up above, but this one it says express it as 2 binomials. Okay, so process the GCF. The GCF here is x plus 5. And then in my parentheses, I'm going to have minus 2x plus 11. Nope, messed that up. Wow. X plus 5. And then I'm going to have a double parenthesis, 2x plus 11 minus x minus 2. And if I simplify that, I'm going to have x plus 5. And on this side, I'm going to have 2x take away 1x. Well, let's do the keep change thing. Plus, negative, plus. 2 take away 1 leaves me 1. 11 plus 2 is 13. And the other one's a little bit easier. I'm going to factor out the x plus 4. And then I'm going to have x minus 2 plus x plus 7. So I'm going to have x plus 4 times 2x plus 5. And that's how they wanted left. They wanted 2 binomials. Last one's weird, okay? Eventually you're going to find the area, the shaded area, okay? So first we're going to multiply the 2x plus 3 and the x plus 4. And if you do that right, you get 2x squared plus 5x minus 12. And then you're going to multiply the x plus 6 and the x plus 3, and that's going to give you x squared plus 9x plus 18. And then they want to know the area, the shaded area. So to do that, you're just going to subtract the 2, and that's going to give you x squared minus 4x minus 30. Okay? So this is really A minus B. Okay? So that is review number 1. Once again, if you did well on it, you can get some extra credit and turned it in on time so that you haven't had a chance to see the video. All right, it will prepare you for the test. The test is going to be about 13 multiple choice, but there will be some problems like this on there, so you have to know the procedure. So pay attention to what you got going on, and hopefully we'll do real well. Thank you so much.